Typically, the theme of our show is having fun, but that's impossible to do if you've been the victim of domestic violence. So we want to take a few minutes to address a very important topic and give people a little guidance and a little hope. And that's what the word Esperanza means, hope. And that in itself encompasses everything that this is about. Sherry Taylor is the executive director of the Esperanza Shelter for Battered Families in Santa Fe, and Michelle Montoya joins us today, not only a board member, congratulations, but also a domestic violence survivor, and for that, I give you a big kiss.
Thank you.
And I want us to really start this off by talking about how pervasive a problem domestic violence is, and maybe Sherry, you could start with that.
Domestic violence affects, I'd say probably 1 in 4 families throughout the United States.
Wow.
And I think the thing I really wanted to maybe talk about initially was domestic violence programs started about 35 years ago because more women were dying from domestic violence than anything else.
Wow.
And the federal government had to acknowledge that it was a health issue.
Mm-hmm.
And so funding started through the federal government, and about 100 domestic violence programs kind of evolved. We had safe houses where people could go and be safe, but the programs themselves started, and Esperanza Shelter for Battered Families out of Santa Fe was one of the first to do that and to start that work.
And I think that the name is just incredible because that's what domestic violence victims need, is hope. It's the number one thing you need, is hope. And I just want to touch a little bit on why and when domestic violence begins, because I think a lot of times that people don't think that they're in a domestic violence situation just because they're getting screamed at or pushed or somebody's in their face. I want to talk about what abusive means because I want to make it clear to people. So maybe you can talk about that a little bit for us.
I'd be happy to. I was in a domestic relationship for 10.5 years of my life, streaming back to when I was 17 years old.
Wow.
He did everything he could to break me. He was my everything. He was like my God.
I get that.
And he broke me down so bad. He made me believe. The words he used. He said to me that no one else was going to want me. That I was the only one. That he was the only one who would want me with 2 kids, living in low-income housing. He broke me completely. I had no education, and I believed in him. And I always looked for hope that he would change.
Right.
And things good would come out of that.
But it didn't.
Never did. It was a cycle of abuse that continued throughout the 10.5 years until my 8-year-old told me, "Mom, you need to get out or he's going to kill you."
Oh, wow. Wow. And when you hear that from your own child, let alone from anybody, it kills the heartstrings. And in itself, I think you said a word I want to go back to because I think it's really important. You said cycle. And that word is so important because what happens is you want to believe that something will change. You want to believe that it's going to get better. But when it's a cycle, it doesn't change, does it?
Well, and when I'm talking to people, I've been doing this about 15 years, when I'm talking to people about domestic violence that may not understand it, or people that are going through it or have been through it, the big thing is when you start a relationship with someone, that never starts off bad. It always starts off good.
So true.
So the good stuff is there for a minute, which could be a month or a year, but just for a minute.
Yeah.
And then it turns into something else, and there's always this this end result that's negative. Now, whether it's someone calling you a bad name, or someone not giving you attention, whatever it is, or being mean to somebody around you, or isolating you,
or breaking down your spirit.
Breaking down your spirit is the big goal of that, I believe. But anyway, so when you start off in these relationships, it's never bad.
Right.
So you're always looking for that good stuff to come back.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely
that's what
true.
it's about.
So now tell me I mean, first of all, congratulations to you for being strong enough to take your child's advice, really.
I did.
And stay alive and stay strong. And now you're taking what you've gone through and you're bringing something positive to other people. And I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what you're offering, because I think that's important for people as far as support services go.
Okay, well, I'll give you a brief on Esperanza, but then I'd really like for Michelle to share her experience, because it was 13 years ago, but it's still the same work, and I'm very proud of that.
Okay, great.
Okay, so everything we provide is free. We have a shelter that has counselors and advocates, and we have people there 24 hours a day, and we have a child advocate that works with the children there. It is an amazing program. Also, Esperanza you don't have to be in shelter to get services. It's called non-residential.
Okay.
So people can come for groups and they can come for counseling. Everything is free there, and we also have a child therapist on there.
That's
anyway,
incredible.
So, and we also have a full 52-week session for offenders who are court-ordered.
Oh.
So it's a real holistic program, and if you want to get help, you can get help even if you're the offender. And that's free if you walk through the door, but if it's court-ordered, it has a small fee attached to it.
Wow. That is amazing. And I want you to also, if you could, before we go, I want you to tell people who are in a situation right now like you were in, and they're afraid to get out, they're afraid of the repercussions. What would you say to them?
You know, there is hope. You think you're alone, but you're not. Esperanza Shelter will never turn you down. You can go back to him over and over, to the abuser, and they will never shut the door to you. It's like going to church.
Wow. Oh, that's a beautiful way to say it. And it's free. That's a beautiful way to say it. And you have been there, so you know.
I've been there, yes, firsthand. They helped me. They helped me, and I am a proud survivor through Esperanza Shelter. My children and my husband today have been my rock through this.
Wow. Oh, that's so wonderful. That's so great to hear. And you are giving everybody a little Esperanza. And I like the purple color.
So.
It means hope as well. So when you wear purple, you got that.
Yes.
And of course, if you need help, you can always call them at 505-474-5536. And we'll be right back.